you one thing, if a little green man pops out of me, I'm shooting first and asking questions later.
You are on the verge of destroying the entire universe.
Welcome to the Strange Podcast with Sam and Logan.
If you enjoy the show, please go to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you're listening, and please give us a good rating. If you want to share a story or have ideas for a future episode, you're welcome to visit us at www.thestrangepodcast.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome to The Strange Podcast. This is episode 48, and I'm Logan Marks.
And I'm Sam Baxter. Today's September 20th, 2018.
Time's going by really quick.
I know, and it's getting dark sooner. I like that.
Oh, I know. Halloween's coming up. We got October.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love Halloween.
I know. I like the cold mornings.
It's nice. Cold evenings.
All crisp.
Oh, yeah.
Cool evenings.
Yeah.
Some campfires.
It was hot this summer. And then all those fires.
I know. I hate freaking summer. It's a piece of shit time.
I know. I got people like telling me like I'm like talking to people at work and like, hey, I'm like, sending them messages. Hey, how you doing today? Oh, it's raining today. I'm just dreading all this winter. This rain coming up. I'm like, fuck. Like in the summertime, you knew I was dreading it. And you all rubbing it in my face. How sunny it is every day and shit.
Now they're all in.
Yeah, now they're all like already depressed. Oh, this clouds are coming in. So it's like, you told me to move somewhere where it's gonna rain most of the time because I like the rain. Now I'm telling you to get the fuck out of here and go move to Florida or something. It's like, jeez, it's like
go to Arizona.
Yeah, go somewhere where it's hot all the time. If that's what
hang
you
out with
need.
all the old people.
I know. I
can't take the cold anymore.
I like the Four Seasons. I don't know. I think the Four Seasons is, there's something to be said about that.
It's too cold. I can feel it in my bones.
Yeah, but I like having, snow, rain, sun. It's great. Wind. It's all nice. All the elements.
Yeah. It just keeps it from getting boring.
I know. There was one year where we spent Christmas in California when I was a kid. Oh God, that was so weird. I mean, there's pictures of like, I was like a young kid, and there was like pictures of Frosty and stuff all over. I'm like, well, where's the fucking snow?
I know. I remember.
I was like, this is bullshit.
I remember we went to Mexico for like the whole 3 months of the winter.
Oh God, that must have been weird.
It felt so weird, yeah, because it didn't snow, but they still had like Christmas stuff up.
Yeah, and you're like, this I was like, what the fuck? Right.
So snow, it's not even cold out here.
Yeah, I know. It's just
and they were being all freaked out. I was like, how's Santa gonna know where
exactly,
I'm at?
I know. There's no chimneys in any of these houses. We're in another country, and he doesn't know where I'm at. God,
he can come to this shithole.
I know.
He only goes to America. That's what
I know. Hell, that's what I learned in school. He won't come to Mexico. No, not us, poor folks. We just get coals in our stocking. Right? Montezuma's revenge with that water.
Here's some new underwear.
I know.
You're gonna need it.
I know. No, go take a shit. Speaking of bathrooms, like this week at work, there's a guy. So every once in a while, being a guy, you're at the urinal, and every once in a while, there's somebody that I know that I work with, that I know pretty well. I'll walk in and they're already there taking a piss, and I'll kind of like come behind them and like I'll just kind of put my hand on their back real soft. I did to one guy this week. He's like the newest guy. He's like, he's all like freaked out.
I'm not at a bathhouse.
Yeah, he was all like, he's like, I didn't know who that was. I was like, take it easy, guy. I didn't touch you anywhere that would feel good. I just gotta touch you on the back real soft.
That's so creepy.
I know. That's why I did it. There's another guy that I've known.
He's all having flashbacks.
Yeah, I know. God, it's not prison again.
Not again. No.
Yeah. It's like I'm back at the YMCA. There's another guy that I've known for like 18 years, and he was taking a leak, and he always keeps his phone on his belt. And I was just like, fuck, I hate that. So as I was walking in, he was there taking a piss, and I just kind of flicked it with my finger. I just flicked his phone. The look he had, he was like, who the fuck is touching me as I'm pissing? He turns his head with his eyes all squinty, like he's Superman. He's going to burn me with his fucking infrared rays.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Surprised he didn't turn around and pee on you.
I know. I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting. But it'll be worth it. It'll be funny.
Be worth it. I don't know about that.
If it happens, I'll tell everyone. I won't be too proud to tell everybody. I won't be ashamed. I'll fucking tell everybody. Like I said, you just kind of like you put on the back like, oh god, and just kind of freak out.
Anything goes in the bathroom.
Oh yeah, especially at work. That's where everything's on limits in the men's bathroom. Anything goes, folks. Anything goes. So have you checked out anything good? Watched anything new? Any new movies?
I've been watching that Norm Macdonald has a show on Netflix. It's pretty good.
Is it pretty good?
Yeah, I've only gotten like 3 episodes into it.
How many does he have?
I didn't see how many. I just started watching it. So like the first one, it had David Spade and then Drew Barrymore, and then he had David Letterman on.
Oh, how was that?
They're pretty funny. Like, because his sense of humor, like he
kind of weird, a little bit different.
Yeah, he has a weird sense of humor. Like it's and a lot of it's like awkward jokes sometimes.
Sure, yeah.
He'll tell the jokes and stuff, and then like you could tell like he'll piss off some some of the guests. He'll get like,
I like that. As you can tell, I like pissing off people.
Yeah, you can tell you could tell they'll get annoyed and shit. Like like with David Spade, he kept like talking about how they had to cut to break and stuff, and then like. But then he would keep going with the interviews, and he was like, "Well, are we on break or what's going on?" And then like he kept, and then like every 5 minutes, so he was like, "Oh, we got to cut the break again." And he was like, "Dude, didn't we just cut? Are we on the air or are we not on the air?"
So just confused, you know?
Yeah,
a little bit irritated.
Yeah, he was getting all pissed off. It was pretty funny.
I'll have to check that out. Norm Macdonald had a farm. All right. Well, I haven't seen that show. I did want to see Predators last weekend, but my woman was out of town and I had the kids, so I couldn't go take them to see it.
I told you should just take your kids, man. They need to learn that stuff early.
Man up, boys. Man up. I'm going to show you this horror gore movie.
They got to know about that stuff.
I know. It's part of life.
He's going to get beat up at school.
It's all part of life. Aliens and fucking predators fucking hunting people down.
You didn't watch Predator? I got to kick your ass.
Yeah, I know. I can't. Have you heard anything about it? Do you know if it was any good?
I've had 2 friends go. I haven't watched it yet because I don't like to go like to the openings of anything because it's too many people. Yeah, it annoys me. But like I had 2 friends that watched it. They said it was pretty good. That they really liked it. It reminded them kind of like the '80s.
Oh, the Arnold one.
Yeah, the
original one.
Arnold one.
That one's fantastic. That one still holds up.
Yeah, so they said it had that kind of tone. I watched that one the other day. Mm-hmm. The original one.
How'd you feel?
It was still pretty
still
badass.
Good, huh? Yeah. That movie just always makes man.
Yeah, I just get all excited when they do the handshake.
When they all like trying to outdo each other.
Yeah, what's wrong? You turn into a pussy. You
I know.
Pushing too many pencils.
Yeah, pushing too many pencils. Something, whatever he says. Yeah, that was. And the whole movie was good. That movie still.
Yeah,
holds
you're like,
up.
yeah. That's a man show.
This is a man's movie. Yeah. No woman should be watching this.
She might get pregnant.
I know. Just from the handshake.
Yeah, I'll probably try to go watch it this weekend because my lady's gonna be out of town, so I'm just probably just go by myself and watch it.
Nice.
Because everybody I know watched it already.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. They're the ones telling me that it's good. I was like, oh shit, I might as well go watch it.
So yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it'll be good. Hopefully it'll be good. I'm excited.
We'll see.
I'm stoked.
We're gonna take a break and we come back. We'll get into some funny news stories.
It's time for strange news.
Alright, so we're back. So the first strange news we have, I have this one. A suspicious item turns out to be a science experiment. So this doesn't sound weird in itself, but police officers spent 2 hours investigating a suspicious plastic container found behind a Missouri sandwich shop before determining it was a high school science experiment. KNBC TV reports that police were summoned Tuesday to a Jimmy John's in Platte City on the northern edge of Kansas City metropolitan area. So I guess it was a plastic container that they encountered was filled with a blue fluid attached to some other items. So officers eventually determined it was an experiment meant to demonstrate how hydrogen can be used as power. So the student who built it demonstrated it to friends inside of Jimmy John's. Then he left it behind the store so other friends could see it. But some other person came out, saw it, and called the cops right away. Now I understand it being, safe, and good thing it was nothing bad. Nobody got hurt. But that's just, it must have been a good experiment if it could. It took a couple hours for some cops to...
I know, to figure out what it is.
Yeah, God, what is this blue stuff?
Turns out it's just gack.
I know. Gack? In the purest form, gack.
The purest form is gack.
Yeah.
You think it was just like somebody would just saw it there and just like threw it away.
Or maybe one of the people who already saw it would say, yeah, this is just an experiment. One of the people that were already working there and saw it.
Some kid left it here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, our buddy, he came by earlier. He showed us what this is. This is what it is. But yeah, unfortunately, the cops had to spend 2 hours on that.
2 hours. Well, like 90% of the time was just getting Jimmy John's.
I know. All eating sandwiches and shit.
Oh, beef cheeseburger.
Hey, what do you guys? Did you guys figure it out? Now give me another sandwich.
Good job, boys.
I know. Good work. That's good. Some good sandwich eating, boys. So, yeah, I'm glad nobody was hurt, but unfortunately, the cops, that's what they do. They figure things out, and it was just a science experiment, folks.
Thanks for keeping us safe.
I know.
From high school or school projects.
Yeah.
Well, the cops were doing some good work on this story.
All right.
So 2 women faced felony drug charges after agents with the Catherine Savannah Counter Narcotics teams found that they were selling marijuana edibles at a church event in Georgia. So agents say that a lady, Ebony Cooper, 28, and Leah Presley, 26, were openly selling THC-laced baked goods at the event at the church.
Hey, man. These religious folks need to believe in something. This helps.
These brownies will make you see God.
Yeah.
So I guess the police agents they caught on to this. They noticed what was going on. They were even like advertising it on Facebook.
What? They were advertising these edibles?
Yeah, on Facebook that they were selling them at the church.
Holy shit!
So had the agents come, they were like they kept an eye on her. Mm-hmm. on the two girls, and then they followed them to another location where they were selling. I guess they were selling it at another church too. And
fucking hustling.
So they pulled them over and they searched the vehicle, and inside they say they found large amounts of marijuana edibles and more than $1,000 in cash and a loaded gun.
Oh shit! The fuck?
So they meant business, man. Fucking holy rollers.
God dang! And you know what? $1,000 in cash. You know how many people bought that shit?
I know.
Fuck, man. I'm telling you, man. Those are some fucking customers, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
remember on Friday, Chris Tucker? See, even religious folks be smoking the weed. Remember Bernie Mac? Just give me a little bit for my cataracts. Remember?
Oh, my cataracts. Yeah.
He's still making it up. Yeah, these fuckers are just smoking it up, getting high at the church. I might go to that church. I might check out that church.
Well, apparently the church. They say the church was unaware of any of the.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But yeah, that's that.
We don't condone this stuff, but we we allowed it to be sold at our fucking potlucks.
Jesus would never smoke pot. Never.
Yeah. We don't know anything about this stuff.
Yeah, so I don't know. I bet you they did know. I bet you they did.
I'm pretty sure they did, and I wouldn't. If they were selling that much, if they made $1,000 in cash,
I bet you they were getting their cut. I bet you the church was getting their cut out.
I bet a lot of those guys were smoking that, eating that shit, man. Why not? Why's it got to be so taboo about all that? I don't know. That's just me. I don't feel like it needs to be all taboo. Like, you have some edibles, you smoke some weed, big deal. I don't know.
Yeah, I never thought it was a big deal.
I know.
I've never known anybody like smoke weed and actually do like crazy ass shit. Usually just fucking get hungry and sit around and watch fucking TV.
Basically, same here. I know more people that did more harm with alcohol than smoking weed. And I'm not trying to talk shit about alcohol, but I'm just saying that weed's got a real bad rap, and I don't think it needs to be as bad. But again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying that it's better for you or better in any way. But like you said, a lot of people that we've known a lot of people that do that stuff. We've just known them, and they've always seemed pretty cool. So, more power to you. Good job, you religious folks. I like you. I think I might like religion a little bit more.
Have more respect for them if they were.
I can respect that church. Yeah, what's it at? Do Did they need a donation or something? Maybe I can. So, so I got this other story right here. So this owner of a Chinese restaurant in Louisiana found with roadkill in their cooler. The owner of a Chinese restaurant in Louisiana is facing possible jail time after a spotted fawn was found in a cooler inside the eatery. Fucking fawn, man.
It was like that's a deer, right?
Yeah, like a small one.
I know.
Baby.
If it was like a cat or dog, I'd be like,
Yeah, deer's alright. I guess deer.
But I mean, shit. I mean, people hunt them down.
Yeah, I know. So,
I guess it depends on how long the deer's been out there.
Yeah.
If it was like a fresh, like it just got freshly hit that morning.
Yeah,
and
I
like, well, we don't want to waste some meat. We can sell this shit.
Yeah.
It's free meat. What do you do? What are you gonna do?
So this guy, some Chan Chatopanya, I'm butchering his name, but fuck it. 61 of Winsboro was cited for possession of a spotted fawn after a Franklin's Parish Sheriff deputy found the animal during a security check at the Golden Hen restaurant in Winsboro. So the deputy discovered an open door and proceeded inside to clear the building when he found a dead spotted fawn in the cooler. So this is what the Louisiana Department of Wildlife said. The wildlife agents were dispatched and found that Chatiana, the owner of the restaurant, later at his home where he was butchering the fawn. So he took that shit home. He told the agents he found the animal dead on the side of Highway 17 and took the roadkill to his restaurant where he stored it in his cooler. Then he took the fawn to his house after learning that the deputy may have seen the dead animal in his cooler. So
are they upset that he took the animal, or is that he was going to serve it to people?
Hold on. Possession of a spotted fawn is punishable by fines of up to $750 and between 15 and 30 days in jail.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that motherfucker should have left it there.
Well, it seems like a waste of meat. Like, especially, I don't know.
Yeah, but how often do you see a deer on the side of the road and you think, oh, I should eat that?
I know people that, like, they hit a deer and they're like, well, I better just throw it in the
Yeah, maybe they hit it, but I'm talking about finding one.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, that's a little bit different, right? I think so.
I remember I used to watch this documentary on, like, people would, like, dumpster dive.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd go, like, behind grocery stores and they would,
just get whatever the leftovers.
Yeah, like the stuff that was expired, they would take it because it was still a lot of this food. They got rid of a lot of food that was still really good.
I know Safeway. Remember they used to do that when we used to work there.
Yeah, it's like
just
like
throw
the
it
donuts
out.
would be like, yeah, they would just toss it.
I remember asking them like, hey, why don't we give it to some like homeless shelter? Nope.
No, because then no
what
one
if
who's
what if somebody gets
Well,
no, not just that, but they
oh,
said
somebody
that
gets
if
sick. Yeah, that's right.
What if they get sued, right? So they just rather just throw it
true.
away than give it to anybody.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
but in that documentary, there was just one guy that he would just go around and he would just pick up roadkill and he would eat it. He would like.
I'm assuming he'd cook it, right?
Well, yeah, he'd cook it. I mean, but like he was like picking up like fucking raccoons and weird ass animals and stuff, and he'd be like, yeah, you're just shave it, get the fur off. And...
I get that if you're poor and that's how you lived, but this guy owns a restaurant, man. This guy's got money.
Well, that's true.
This guy ain't no dumpster diver. I think this guy's got some cash. He's got.
Well, I mean, it might not have been a good restaurant.
Maybe I know.
He might have been like, well, you cut some costs.
He might have been planning just to fucking, sell it in his restaurant, like put in his food or something. Who knows? Maybe that's what he was gonna do. Like, hey, I'll save some cash. Maybe he's on hard times.
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe we don't know. Maybe this guy's the victim here, goddamn.
Yeah, he's the victim. He's just trying to feed his family, man.
I know. How dare these fucking cops and prosecute him with the actual law?
Oh, come on. This man trying to make it.
So anyway, I thought that was a little bit weird. Again, I've never eaten roadkill. I hope I never get to any point in my life where I have to do that. So I'm just gonna frown on that right now.
I've never done it either, but like if somebody's brave enough to do it, more power to them.
Yeah, like I said, and if you're on hard times, man, I can see that people doing that. Like you said, you watch some show. Some people live off that. There's like a lot of people, they just leave society. They like live under the ground. Have you ever seen that, like in New York City and stuff?
Yeah, I've seen that where they
make like actual
wires.
Yeah,
they just like hook up to the city's power.
Yeah, exactly. It's all free stuff, and they live underground. They don't want to pay rent. They don't want to live in an apartment or a home and deal with all that stuff. They just live underground.
Yeah, I guess if you can get away with it, yeah.
If there's a will, there's a way, right?
Yeah.
If you can sustain, I've never done that. I think that would be hard for me because I'm not used to that. But shit, people can get really creative in tough times.
Oh yeah, if you can live that way, go for it, man. Live off the grid, man.
Live it off. Yep.
Don't let the government get you. Stay away from the man.
What do you got?
So I got a story here. A man is wanted by the police for being filmed setting his daughter inside a barber cut light cabinet, which is one of those, when you go and there's all those dolls and stuff in the cabinet, and you have to get the little joystick and try to get the little claw.
Oh yeah,
to pick up dolls.
You have to hit the button and it goes down and it closes.
Yeah, and it pulls out. So pretty much there were some prizes, some really nice prizes in there. Okay. So his daughter was small enough to go into the front opening, so he got her in there, and had her like grab all the stuff that was in there and hand it to him. And while he was doing that, some ladies saw him, and so they got him on camera.
Yeah,
they got him on camera, but he got away though. He made off with like a Nintendo Switch and a 3DS.
Oh shit! So these weren't like fucking toys. These weren't like dolls or anything.
No, they were like they weren't dolls. These were actually pretty good, like really.
These are actually
prizes.
real prizes. Yeah, this is real shit.
Yeah, but people were walking by and they're seeing that they had the little toddler in there, and people were like, "Oh man, that's so unsafe! Like, how could you do that? Have your kid in there?" And I'm like,
"Oh wait, he's getting this $200 item and stuff. That's why."
Yeah.
Holy shit! So he got away?
Yeah, so they're looking for him right now. So if you see the guy with the DS and a Nintendo Switch and the little kid, call the police.
Call Nintendo, help them get their money back.
You know what I think? The way I think about it is like, man, those things are rigged for you to lose.
That's what I've been telling people, but a lot of people tell me that I'm just a big baby about it.
But so like,
I agree with you.
If this guy found a way to win the prizes, more power to him.
Yeah, exactly. You got to run the system, right? It's just an exploit.
Yeah, if they put him in there. I mean, eventually
they made it big enough for a child to go in there. Fuck it.
Yeah, they put him in there, and they're expecting somebody to win the prize, right? So somebody found a way to get it out. Just wasn't use the claw.
Yep, exactly. Hey, fuck it, it's done. They got it. Fucking case closed. So I got this weird one here. It's kind of gross, but this Kentucky woman, she released her bowels on the cop to avoid being arrested.
Ugh.
So this 26-year-old is trying to resist arrest. She was handcuffed and charged with assault after she reportedly released her bowels on the arresting officer. Amanda Peters was arrested Saturday and is being held at the Madison County Detention Center, online records show. So they basically said that this Peters lady, Amanda Peters, gave the officer a fake name after she was tracked down on an outstanding warrant in a neighboring county. So basically they finally caught her, and she just started pissing and shitting herself, hoping that the cop would just like, "Oh, I'm grossed out, I'm out." Nope. The law fucking didn't give a shit about her shit, and she got busted.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that's kind of gross.
So they still took her in?
They took her in, man. They're not gonna let her get away. I mean, they'll fucking just probably hose her down or something. Or maybe they'll let her sit in her own fucking squalor.
I'd hate to be the cop to have to like bring her in all fucking shit all over her.
I know. I mean, I wonder how many times things like that do happen, though. The cops have to deal with things, people that are really gross and try do whatever they have to do, right, to get out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this shit happens all the time.
Exactly.
So somebody's like gonna make their life hard just because they don't want to go to jail.
Yeah, like if I do this, the cops will let me go. They don't want to put up with me, and it's like, they're like, nope, I'd rather fucking bust you and let you sit in your own shit. You can sit. I bet they let her sit like that for a while. I wouldn't doubt it.
They probably put her in the holding. Yeah, in the holding. Just let her fucking take their time with it.
Exactly. Before they process her. I mean, the cops can, when they get you in there, they can do what they want. I mean, basically, essentially, right? So.
Yeah. I mean.
So she just made things worse for herself. So I'm pretty
maybe,
sure they weren't going to be lenient on her after that.
Maybe she just really needed to go, and like, that's why she was speeding.
She did it various times because she just had to keep going. Well, good job, cop. I'm glad you put up with that shit, literally.
Oh man, that's disgusting. We're keeping with the ass theme.
All right.
So There's a man that was arrested by Custom Department in Indira Gandhi International Airport for allegedly trying to smuggle 1 kilogram of gold by hiding it up his rectum.
What?
So a 24-year-old pastor was intercepted upon arriving from Dubai. So during the personal search, he was discovered that he had the gold baby shoved up his ass. He had like 9 gold bars weighing about 1.04 kilograms inside his rectum. Damn.
God.
And those bars are pretty good size. It's like a 1x3.
So basically 1.04, that's for those of us in the United States, that's 2.29 pounds. Yeah, 2.29 pounds of gold up his ass. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, so they're like bars that are like about 1.5 inch by 3.5 almost.
Mm-hmm.
By almost an inch. So they're pretty good sized bars.
So, man, I don't even know why I'm talking about this. Why do I care? But I'm gonna ask. Why was he transporting gold?
They didn't really say why he was. Maybe,
I understand drugs. I understand drugs.
Well, like there's a lot of times like there's like you have money, right? So you have to launder that money,
Okay.
or or money or whatever you have. You don't want the government to know that you have it.
Okay.
So you don't have to put it through customs. So you fucking smuggle it.
So he thought maybe like if he did, somebody would steal it from him or something.
No, I mean because like if you go from one country to another,
Mm-hmm.
you can't take large amounts of money like that. You have to it has to go through customs.
Yeah, you have to declare it and everything.
Yeah, and so that's probably what they were doing with the gold.
God, up your ass.
But apparently that wasn't the only incident. There was like there's another case where like a French national and an India were arrested for allegedly trying to smuggle gold into the country as well. So both were accused. Had arrived in Dubai airport and it was from like different locations. So I don't know what's going on or why there's so many people that was happening to.
I remember listening to the radio like years ago, like when I used to listen to Arbel, they'd have gold, invest in gold, but no, I guess if it's up this guy's ass.
Well, apparently he was shitting bricks because they got busted. Gold.
Dang, man. So what did he get? Like, did it say if he got any like a lot of jail time or something?
Well, yeah,
I don't know the rules of declaring stuff like that. I mean, I guess that's not a federal offense, is it?
I don't know. It didn't really say. They're just saying that they were.
I guess that's not important. The important thing is this guy had gold up his ass. So
so they got arrested and they seized the gold.
Yeah, shit, all that for nothing.
Yeah,
should have declared it.
It's like Rick and Morty. You gotta shove it way up there.
Yeah. So did they say how they found it?
Apparently, they just did like a personal search on him, and he just was unlucky.
Dang.
Well, they probably have those like X-ray things. I mean, how are you gonna go through the X-rays with a big old chunk of gold on you?
Man, if they have that shit, don't even do that. I mean, obviously you can't hide anything now.
I know, that's what I was thinking. It's like, I mean, they probably scanned everybody when they went through.
Yeah. So, dang. Fuck. All right. Well, poor guy, but. We'll stick with the asses. So a man. This last story I got is a man accused of rubbing produce on his butt in Northern Virginia grocery store. So this guy was arrested in Northern Virginia grocery store after he was seen pulling down his pants and rubbing produce items on his buttocks. Police say. The suspect then put the items back on the shelves. A loss prevention employee at the store told authorities. So this guy was just grabbing fruit, fucking pulling his pants down and rubbing it all over in his ass and shit. And so they called the cops. He got arrested.
Why would you do that?
The bad thing for the store is the last sentence is the store had to destroy several pallets of produce after the incident. So I'm not sure why they.
Man.
Yeah.
Well, because they don't know which one he.
Exactly. You don't know how much food you probably put back on all those pallets, man. So they just had to destroy shit. They had oh man, I don't know, but
it's like Russian roulette if you try to.
Yeah, I mean, I know people should wash their food anyway, right? You should be washing your food, so this shouldn't be an incident, right? I mean, we're all told to wash our food.
That should be a lesson to everybody: wash your fruit.
Yeah,
vegetables.
If people tell you not to, this is the reason why. Cause some motherfucker
Especially
will rub it.
phallic kind of
Yeah,
vegetable.
some motherfucker will rub it in his ass. So, yeah. That's all I got, man. I don't know. We had a lot of ass shit, a lot of themes, with ass and shit.
I know.
That's just a lot of. I'm not sure why that is. I guess a lot of people are feeling comfortable with their asses that they're willing to pick shit up. They don't want shit coming out. They want shit going in. Dang. So that's weird. But hey, people got their vices, and I'm not here to judge anyone.
Yeah, we don't judge. Whatever you want to do with your ass is fine, as long as you don't put it on my fruit or.
Yeah. Yeah. Please don't fart on my food. Yep. Yeah. So when we come back from our break, we'll get into the stories. I got some disappearances of whole groups of peoples. So come on back and we'll talk about that. All right, and we're back. So I have these. I was reading about some stuff online, and I would also watch this movie. Do you remember the movie Phantoms a while back? It was like in the late '90s. Yeah, Phantoms.
Is that with Ben Affleck?
Yes. Remember that one?
Yeah, I do a little bit.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
Yeah, it was basically like a whole town. Like people came to the town, and everyone was just gone. And they couldn't figure out why, and they were seeing like phantoms of people that existed there, but they were like gone. So anyway, I'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But basically, like I said, that was kind of creepy, because the whole town was gone, and that was like the very first movie that I can remember seeing like that, where everyone had disappeared, not just like one person, like whether it be a kidnapping or they disappear somehow into another dimension. But
yeah,
so I was looking up some stuff about that. Like, has things like that happened? So of course we know about the Roanoke colony. You know what I'm talking about, right?
The which colony?
The Roanoke. It's basically like the oldest mystery in this nation. Like in the 16th century, more than 100 colonists vanished from Roanoke Island in North Carolina. Do you remember that one? So I'll talk about it.
I've never heard of it.
Okay, so basically, the colonists had arrived in 1587 under there was English colonists under John White, and he was a friend of Sir Walter Raleigh, and they were part of the second or third attempt to settle the area. So the earliest days of the colony seem to have been touched by they were blessed because White's daughter gave birth to the first English-born child on the New World. Right? They were the first settlers here.
First anchor babies.
Yeah, exactly. First anchor babies. And so they had a relationship with the Native Americans there, but it was kind of getting soured. The colony was having a hard time getting started. So they were kind of running out of supplies, and there was a little bit of problems. They probably didn't have enough weapons, to kind of maybe if they felt like they were going to get attacked by the natives, they didn't feel like they were prepared. So White was persuaded to go back to England to get reinforcements and supplies. So because there was no planes back then, he had to take a boat, and storms and the sea, and there was a war with Spain. It delayed his return for 3 years. Right? So
oh shit, that's a long time.
Yes, it wasn't 2 weeks, man. It was 3 years. So when he got back to Roanoke Island, he found no sign of his family or any other colonists. All gone. The only clues of the whereabouts seemed to be the letters CRO carved into the tree and the word Croatoan carved into a fence post. So what he had done before he left was he told the settlers that should they have to leave or flee or something, wherever they were going to go to leave, they should carve a sign of the place they were going to, and they should add a cross. Put a cross next to it. God and all that stuff.
Okay.
But he didn't find a cross. But he did find a mess of broken and spoiled belongings. So he presumed the settlers had gone on to live with the friendly Croatoan tribe. But I guess bad weather and other mishaps prevented him from going to the island where the tribe lived. So, like again, back then there's no roads or anything. He has to make his way through all the marshland and everything, and because of bad weather, it delayed him from getting there. So eventually, he got over there, but the colonists, there was no sign of them ever being there. So some people, they just like disappeared. They didn't go there, and there was, like I said, everything was picked up, like everything was gone. They left everything there. So, like some people believe that the colonists just assimilated in the local tribes, but there's no real proof of that, right? They can't find any real proof of that. Mm-hmm. So archaeological digs at the Hatteras Island have found the late 16th century European artifacts, but that doesn't prove the colonists moved there. Because items could have been acquired by trade or plunder, right? It doesn't mean that those people moved there. Somebody could have just stole that shit and just got there anyway. Mm-hmm. So, like, more recent research has pointed to a site called Mary Hill on Albemarle Sound. And in 2015, archaeologists said that the concentration and dates of European artifacts at the site had convinced them that at least some of the lost Roanoke colonists ended up there, but likely fewer than a dozen. So still, most of them can't be accounted for. So they don't know where the rest went. So a chief, Powhatan, is said to have told Captain John Smith, the leader of the Jamestown colony, that he had massacred the colonists because they were living with a tribe he considered hostile. But the historians, they don't believe that. They have some doubt about that. So it's also possible some or all of the colonists escaped with one of the small boats White had left, but they perished at sea. So maybe they were like, "Fuck it, we're gonna get out of here." Maybe things were getting too hot there, and they're like, "Let's just take a boat and go." Or maybe they were forced to leave, try to get back to England, or find another place to squat, because basically what they were doing is squatting there. But people think that maybe they just went out, and when they went into the boat, they must have sunk in the water. And, of course, you're not going to find any remnants of them at all. But people don't know what happened to them. All they have is just that CRO and the word Croatoan. And it's been, like, a popular story, like, for a lot of, like, Stephen King. I think he did a book. He did a show kind of like that. What was that one called? The Ice Storm, I think.
Was there a movie, like, called Ravenous? Where they all left, but like there's somebody like ate them all or something. Like it turned to cannibalism or something like that.
I don't know. I haven't heard that one. Storm of the Century was the movie. Yeah, that was the one that was like a Stephen King one, I think. And it was basically kind of the same thing, but except it had like a demonic spirit that had came and kind of taking people. It was like he was like supposedly responsible for the Croatoan people, but it's been popular. It's been, like I said, it's been theorized. Nobody can figure out what happened, and the clues are so minimal that it just perplexes people, and they can't, like I said, they can't really find anything. And if they do find remnants of like European like pots and stuff, they can't say that people went there, like I said, because what if somebody just plundered their the leftover village and took the shit, right?
Yeah,
that's how it got moved around. So that's been like the most popular one, but there's some other ones that I found a few other ones that were kind of like that. This one is called New City Village, also known as Demon's Valley. So New City Village was a cluster of homes built in an unknown time period in West Milford, New Jersey. So they were basically, the buildings there were temporary housing for employees of the Newark watershed. So I guess the town was abandoned like in around 1982 with no official explanation. So the abandoned area is also known as the New City Complex and Demon Alley. And it was like, I guess there's been lots of like stories of like legends and ghost sightings, hauntings, possessions, paranormal activities there, because it's so like creepy. Because like all the homes left there they're boarded up, and all the roads are closed. But many of the houses are still standing and contain all the household like appliances, furniture, personal belongings of all the people that live there. It's like the people just up and like disappeared just gone. There was like, they thought like maybe there was a report of radiation contamination, but the government, I guess when people like contacted the government like, hey, can you look into this? Allegedly, the government blocked any ongoing investigation of that area. So the area was just razed in 2005 after arson and vandalism rendered, demolition to it. So it was basically that area was just been torn down now. It's just there's no more remnants of it. And again, nobody knows what happened to the people. I think what's weird is that, all of the household stuff is there. It's like as if they just, I don't know, they disappeared. Everything's in there. They didn't take anything. That's what's weird. That's what's weird about these stories I'm telling you. Is that like nothing was taken. So another story that I thought was also kind of weird was it's called Lake Anjikuni, the Inuit village. So this is in our Canadian neighbors of the north. Was another weird vanishing people. Mm-hmm. So I guess it was this lake, and Anjikuni was like a booming fishing village. And a lot of people there. It was getting big. A lot of people, getting a lot of fish, selling them. It was coming up. And so, November 1930, a fur trapper named Joe LaBelle, he'd been to the village and he went off to go, check his furs, see what he can get. When he came back, mm-hmm. He's ready to come back and have a hot meal and get a hotel room and everything. But nobody was there. There was nobody in the town at all. Between 2,000 and 3,000 people. Like men, women, children, they've all just seemed to disappear.
Just disappear, huh?
Yeah. He went and checked all the shacks, and they contained empty. They were all empty, but and they looked like nothing had been had been a foul. Like nothing had been taken with them, but there was no nothing was tipped over. Nothing. There was no foul play. Nothing. Nobody had broken in or done anything like that. Food, supplies, and weapons also remained, which is something that you wouldn't do if you were going to leave.
Yeah, because stuff like that, if you were actually there was a situation where you had to get out of town or get out there. I mean, you would take some stuff.
You would take at least weapons. Yeah, you would take something. But those were all still back. So at one point, I guess when he was looking around, he spotted a fire in the distance. But when he went to it, he only found a smoldering pot, there was just on the fire, but there was no signs of anybody. And so he left the village fuck this, I don't know what the fuck's going on. So he called the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, which is the RCMP, and they took up an investigation. And when they talked to nearby settlers, the settlers had said that they had seen strange objects and lights in the sky just days before.
Oh, I was just gonna say that. I was I wonder if it's aliens or.
Yeah, and I guess when they arrived back at that basically a ghost town. A ghost village, they found open graves in which the bodies had been removed. And another weird thing was sled dogs, which were back then that was the way of transportation. Yeah, and they were highly valuable. They were found dead and of starvation, and they were buried beneath snowdrifts.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, there was nobody ever found any of the settlers. Nobody ever knows what happened to them. It's just they just disappeared. Yeah, I don't. That's a weird one because, like I said, you're out. It's a Canadian northern town or northern area. And it's cold. You need supplies. You need to be warm. You need food. I mean, you need transportation.
There's no even traces of maybe somebody raiding the place or.
No, but again, no. Like I said, like nothing looked like a foul. That the doors weren't broken down. Even if they were, how are you gonna take 2,000 to 3,000 people away?
Yeah, I know. That's just,
you know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
That's a big. I mean, whoever did that, the Vikings would have to come through and pillage the place. It's. I don't know. I don't understand that one. It's also weird. As remember the Malaysia Flight 370? Mm-hmm. Remember that one that?
Yeah.
March. So in case anybody didn't know, I'll just kind of talk about it real quick. March 8. 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 was taken off from Kuala Lumpur en route to Beijing. So it was basically 2,700 miles is how long the flight was supposed to be. But there was 239 people on board, and about 45 minutes after takeoff, the plane lost contact with air traffic control board. So I guess the investigation just kind of said that the severing of the contact occurred at the time of the transponder's malfunctioning. So basically, that's when they lost contact with them was when the transponder also started malfunctioning, which is kind of weird because that black box is supposed to work at all
it's supposed to
times.
record like everything.
Yeah. And a tiny island in the Strait of Malacca named Palau Perak is the last known location of the plane. The island was in fact the opposite direction of the plane's flight path, suggesting to many of the theorists that the plane had been hijacked by someone on board. So basically, it was going the opposite way it was supposed to go. You know, as we all know, that there's been no finding of the black box or any remnants of anybody. No survivors. I mean, it's just, I know they didn't disappear, but it's weird how this one, because I remember when this happened back in 2014, I remember people talking about, yeah, you know, a government, they didn't say our government, but the government probably had hijacked it, and they were like, they flew them into a mountain for testing, you know. People were kind of talking about stuff like that.
I remember someone saying there's like a missile shot it down or something like that.
Oh, I didn't hear that. The only time I heard a missile was when in 9/11. Remember that one with
the Pentagon?
The Pentagon, yeah. Remember they said that plane was shot down by a missile. It wasn't really the plane itself. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what could have happened to this flight. And I remember it was like it's been a real big deal. I mean, and I think like on like TV, like I saw a commercial. There's gonna be a new show where basically like the people went on. Have you seen that commercial where the people were supposed to like get on the plane and they show up like in, say, I don't know if it's DC or something, and the cops were all there because it's a plane that had disappeared 5 years ago, and the people are like, no, we just took our normal flight, but everyone on the ground is like, no, you've been gone for 5 years.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's gonna be kind of weird, you know. Have you seen that commercial?
Is it a commercial or is it a?
It's a show. It's a show that's coming out.
Okay, so it's like a trailer for a
for a TV show. The only bad thing I'm going to hate about that is, of course, it's 5 years later, so a lot of the people here who had families on there have moved on, and when they come back, they're gonna, you know, it's going to be some drama shit where, oh, you married my best friend, you know, that type of shit.
Yeah.
I don't really want to see that, but but the concept's kind of cool, and I've heard of people saying like maybe it went into some type of void or some time vortex, or maybe, you know, I've heard of people saying like maybe that flight is going to reappear like in another 5 years or some, you know, I don't remember why they said the years, but you know, and I'm wondering if the show kind of got its idea from the Malaysia Flight 370.
Yeah, probably.
I know.
Kind of reminds me of like a Lost.
Yeah.
You know, like the missile goes down, or the plane goes down, and nobody knows where they're at.
Exactly, they can't be found, or like basically, on that island. I don't know. It's interesting, and I wonder if we'll ever know. Probably not. Not in our lifetime. So I got one more weird story. So this is the village of Horror Verde. So this is another weird one where this disappearance occurred in 1923 in a Brazilian town with a population roughly being 600 people. So this mystery is specifically puzzling since little is known about the town or its people to begin with. So as visitors to the village entered the small town, they were immediately struck by how dead everything was. So, you know, people had been, you know, traveling through there, coming and going, trading, this and that. But when they started showing up there, everything was just really quiet one day. And they were like, what the hell? So, unlike any of the other villages, you know, for some reason, 600 people were not walking around the streets there. They're like, what the hell? So everything seemed normal, you know, hanging signs, you know, were just still waving in the wind. They creaked. There was just kind of like an odd feeling there is what people who had first found that place, they thought this is really odd. It's really like ghost-like, scary-like though. Like it didn't feel normal. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it just felt like a creepish feeling. So authorities were called in, and they launched an investigation, and they concluded that the town's inhabitants seemed to be gone without a trace. So as they came to the town school, they found a gun, which they took to be forensically examined. And after a cursory examination, they realized it had been fired the day before, but by whom and at what they were unsure of. So investigators also went into the school, and they saw on the blackboard that there was words on there that were written, "There is no salvation." So the big manhunt ensued, because like 600 people can't disappear,
Yeah.
And people searched all around the area, all around the local, jungles and everything. They didn't find one person, and even to this day, it's still an unsolved mystery. So one newspaper reported the reason for the town's disappearance was probably because, like, in 1923, there was a lot of, like, guerrillas, warriors and stuff like that, and they thought maybe the people had fled because of that. But again, where 600 people went to?
Yeah, because you can't, like, organize that many people and just, like...
No. It's like, we're out of here. Let's all go together.
Just, like, leave their lives behind.
Yeah, and even if they did, I mean, some people probably wouldn't make it, and there would be, like, remnants of them. And then even if they made it to, say, a big city or another city, they would probably still be like, hey, we were from that town.
But you think there's always, like one dude, like, just like the hurricanes and stuff. There's always that one guy's like, I'm not leaving my house.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, there's always somebody that's just hard-headed about it, right?
Be like one dude, I was like, I'm not going to go. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm fucking staying here. I'm guarding my shit with my shotgun.
You think there'd be like one dude that would be there? It was like,
yeah,
hey, left to go get ice cream, and I didn't want to go.
Yeah, I know. So, kind of going back to that phrase, there was no salvation, because this was written in Portuguese. Though the phrase was largely translated into English, the phrase holds little significance in English or Portuguese. But however, if the words had been, I'm going to try and read it, ils est had salus in Latin, or some variation of it, could have been related to the phrase extra excellium nulla salus, which is a Catholic phrase meaning outside of the church there is no salvation. Mm-hmm. So if this was a case, and then they were largely Catholic in Brazil, it could have just been a lesson that they were being taught, by the priests there, or the nuns, and maybe it was interrupted by some unknown force. Like maybe they would just be in class when something happened. They were just writing that out, and they didn't get.
I see. Yeah, they
didn't get the whole thing out, and
has nothing to do with what.
Exactly, it might not have anything to do with why they disappeared. May not have any significance to why they disappeared at all.
Or maybe it was a rapture.
It could have been, yeah. But again, like I said, these 600 people have been missing since even today. Like Croatoan, like the Inuit village. There's no the New City village. That Demon's Valley. There's no explanation for any of this stuff happening. And the reason I thought of this was the movie Phantoms, like I said at the beginning. If you said you didn't see it, or you do remember it?
I remember seeing it. I think we went to the theater to watch it.
Yeah, I think I saw that with you there.
Yeah, I think we saw it together.
Yeah. So I had to so basically what it was, because if you remember, it was just like it was basically an Earth-based amoebic life form that absorbs its victims while gaining their knowledge. So basically it was just like some big old like creature that just ate everybody, but it couldn't eat. You remember, like, it left like heaps of like jewelry and necklaces and all this stuff.
Yeah, it could only eat anything that's like organic.
Exactly. Yeah, it was basically had to shit that other stuff out, because it couldn't absorb it. And it was basically because of all the people had eaten it, could take their memories and all this stuff, and people had were afraid and thought of it as like maybe angelic or like a god. So after doing this so many times, over time, like allegedly it had eaten the Mayans, because the Mayans had also disappeared.
Yeah.
Allegedly, maybe the Croatoan, the folks there in North Carolina, it ate them too, right? Because there's no remnants; they just disappeared. And so, this was the reason why. I know this is just a book. This was just a movie, but it made me think. What if something besides aliens, something, amoebic life form, like the Blob. Remember the movie The Blob? Just fucking ate everybody.
Yeah. Well, that'd be creepy if it's just
that would be
weird blob.
Yeah, but the Blob got bigger every time it ate. Remember that?
Yeah.
Super huge. So I mean, it'd have to be something that could just kind of, shrink itself. Like after it eats, it's good for it goes dormant for like 100 years. Stuff like that.
I thought there was always cases of there's also cases of like people who like where they the combustion where they just kind of they catch on fire and
Spontaneous combustion.
Yeah, spontaneous combustion.
Yeah, but that's a lot of people.
I don't know. It can happen to one. It can happen to like a lot of people at the same time. But then it leaves a lot of traces.
I was gonna say yes.
Yeah.
Some of their body's still there.
Yeah, because it
doesn't burn everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't burn everything, so that's why that wouldn't be a reasoning. I think I remember reading about the Mayans, how I just said how they disappeared, but I think I had read or I saw a show where they talked about basically the Mayans had kind of doomed themselves because they cut down too many trees because they were trying to, they were building things, I guess, with them and using them for transport. And when you take away a lot of the trees, it takes away like the humidity in the air through transpiration, and basically the lack of moisture in the air meant lack of rain, which means they had droughts and all their crops failed and they had to leave. Like a lot of them died.
That just kind of died and then just kind of wandered off into
they had to
and stuff.
Exactly, yeah. It's basically like a almost like a, if you will, a pandemic. They wiped themselves out because they took away all their moisture in the air, so there was no more rain. So again, these other folks in these towns, it's weird. Like I said, that Phantoms movie, it's a good explanation. Like it's some type of life form that, like I said, eats every 100 years. It needs to just eat a bunch of people and then it's good. It's done. But because I'm not saying that's what it is, but I don't know what it caused or how all these people would have just disappeared.
That's your best. That's your best theory that you have.
Nah, that's not my theory. It just made me think. It made me think when I was watching that and they talked about the Mayans, and I thought, I remember seeing something about that. So I looked more into that, and then I said, so that's why I digressed, and I started thinking, well, what have there been any other places, people? Because a lot of times, there might be one person that disappears, right? But when you have like a whole town of like at least 600 or more, that's a lot. That's a lot to pull that off. I mean, David Copperfield couldn't pull that shit off. And he's a damn genius. He's so fantastic. I don't know. I have no theory. If anything, I would have to say it would be like an alien theory. I mean, I don't know anything about their technology, so if I can't diss it.
You know what it makes me think of is how people say like we're living in a simulation.
Yes.
And like we're just kind of like in a big computer game. What if they just got deleted? They were
Matrix?
Like yeah. They're just like we
don't need these people
NPC
anymore.
Characters that just
That's true.
Like,
yeah.
we don't need these guys to just delete them.
They have no value. Yeah, they have no value. Let's rewrite the code and put them somewhere else. Let's put them, like these are old. These were like many years ago. So let's put them somewhere in a better place, like Chernobyl. I got some big plans for that place. Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting theory. That's pretty good. I never thought of that. That could be if you want to think they were in a Matrix or some type of simulation. They could have just been purged.
Yeah, a lot of people think that, and Elon Musk thinks that we're in the Matrix.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, he's like a really big opponent for that theory. No, it's an interesting theory to think about, though.
Yeah, it is. I mean, how can you disprove it? I mean, you can't really, right? Can you?
I don't know. I mean,
if we are, what's on the outside?
That's just kind of. It's probably just like some kid,
just playing,
just playing a video game.
I know. We're just all part of his life. And
we're all in like a giant Nintendo 64.
Shit. Fucking hated the 64. Me too. So it makes me mad. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, it couldn't be like, remember the St. Elsewhere? Remember that finale?
Oh yeah, we're all
that kid with the snow globe.
Kid's dream, yeah.
Yeah, he's all just imagining the whole thing. Everyone was so pissed off at that.
I know.
It's the fucking worst ending ever.
It's a shitty ending, man.
I know. Yeah, exactly. For all the stories they did at the end, it just been some kid with, I think he was autistic or something.
Yeah, it was some autistic kid or something.
And it was a snow globe. Fuck. I'm glad I was too young to watch that, but I can laugh at it.
Well, it's just like we were talking like Lost and their ending.
There's a lot of people who find that ending to be fantastic and who find it to be just refreshing, and It's so witty and so like genius. Yeah, man. If you go online, you see a lot of people that are advocates for that whole ending. Like it's just those of you who don't get it are stupid because you need to be spoon fed everything. Is basically how they put it.
Yeah. Well, I think we were talking about The Sopranos too. I mean, it's kind of like 50-50.
Yeah. There's a lot of people. Yeah. But the thing is, I think it's like, I feel like with Lost, for me, I feel like it's more like 70-30 or 80-20 people are more mad. I don't know. I'm on that spectrum too, because I didn't find all my questions to be answered, but you know, if somebody wants to write in and tell us how stupid we are, I'll take it.
Well, no, we should probably end the show now.
Yep. Go ahead and fuck us up.
So even though you want to fuck us up, have a good morning, evening, or night, and we'll see you next week. Until then, stay strange.
Bye-bye.
If you enjoy the show, please go to iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you're listening, and please give us a good rating. If you want to share a story or have ideas for a future episode, you're welcome to visit us at www.thestrangepodcast.com. We look forward to hearing from you.